Hi, I'm Naina Shada and I'm from group 8174B. In this video, I am going to focus and explain on the ornamental fish trade and coral. Corals build one of the most vital ecosystems in the ocean. Corals are animals that are not mobile, but instead they anchor and live their whole lives in one place. Since millions of years ago, corals have piled together and built giant coral reefs that cover 25% of all the ocean's lives. Corals are the shelters of so many marine species such as sponges, clams, fishes, and snails. Coral reefs are important in ornamental fishery because coral reefs serve as shelters for the fish. Fish uses coral reefs as protection against predators and as their spawning place. Moreover, corals can generate oxygen for fish, and the existence of corals in aquariums will help to imitate the ornamental fish natural habitat, thus making the fish feel safe in their new environment. However, ornamental fishery has caused many destructions to coral reefs. Coral reefs are destroyed when coral heads and colorful reef fishes are captured for aquarium and jewelry trade. There have been so many cases of careless and untrained divers that trample on corals. Plus, there have been many practices of fishing techniques that are destructive too. For instance, blast fishing detonates dynamite and explosives for the purpose of startling fish out of their hiding places. As a result, other species could be killed and corals will be cracked and stressed to the point that they will expel their zooms entirely. Other than that, cyanide fishing is destructive to the coral habitat because this fishing technique sprays and dumps cyanide onto reefs to stun and capture live fish. Consequently, coral polyps could be killed and the habitat of reef will be degraded. In addition, deep water trawling is the technique of fishing that involves the dragging of a fishing net along the sea bottom, while muro arming denting involves the pounding of weighted bags on reefs so that fish will be startled out of the crevices. Fishing nets that are left as debris can be troublesome because live corals in shallow water can be entangled in these nets and torn away from their bases. Besides that, anchors that are dropped from fishing vessels onto the coral reefs can break and destroy the corals. Therefore, the ways to protect the world's remaining corals should be widely aware and practiced around the world. As an aquaculture student, I want to propose 6 ways in which we can help to preserve the habitat of coral reefs. Firstly, we should practice safe and responsible diving and snorkeling by avoiding any contact with the reefs. Anchoring boats on the reefs should be prevented too. This is because touching the delicate corals could damage them and anchoring on the corals could kill them. Instead, anchoring boats on sandy bottom and using moorings are highly recommended. Secondly, when diving and snorkeling into the ocean, only reef-friendly sunscreen products such as mineral-based sunscreen should be used. This is because some of the ingredients in sunscreens can damage the corals and hampers their reproduction. For example, one of the destructive ingredients in sunscreens is oxybenzone. Third, usage of fertilizers should be minimized because the nitrogen and phosphorus present in the fertilizers are extremely toxic to corals. The fertilizers that are used are often washed away into waterways and ultimately end up in the ocean. Fourth, trash should be recycled and disposed of in a responsible manner. This is due to the reason that the trash on beaches that is not disposed of properly will have high chances of being blown away or washed away into waterways and ocean. Apart from that, volunteering to clean and pick up the trash on your local beaches can help too. Fifth, reducing carbon footprint by switching to clean transportation such as going to your destinations on foot, on a bicycle, and using public transport can help to reduce greenhouse gas emission, thus leading to the lesser acidification in ocean. Using hybrid cars is also recommended. Lastly, purchasing of live coral that has not been collected in a responsible manner should be avoided because we should not support those that generate money from selling corals by collecting them in a destructive manner. In a conclusion, there have been more than 40 countries that are affected by blast fishing and there have been more than 15 countries that are affected by cyanide fishing. Therefore, countermeasures to prevent those harmful activities should be recommended and taken. For instance, suing those that carry out the destructive fishing technique should be one of the recommendations. Other than relying on the higher ups to take actions against those that are guilty of constantly harming the corals, the people that goes to spend time on the beaches and in the ocean should practice the preventive actions that I have recommended, so that the habitat of our coral reefs will not be endangered and we will be able to keep our coral reefs for further benefits to our planet.